Well, honey, we've had the Land Cruiser for just about a week.
Just about a week. Just enough to fall in love.
Mm-hmm. We've named it Landy.
Landy, good old Landy.
We've done a mile per gallon loop.
Yep.
We've done a first impression video. And
you did a off-roading kind of video.
Mild off-road test.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're in it doing our final review. So we do have some seat time. I know it's been a very short amount of time, but we have some seat time.
We have our 100-mile loop to Nashville and back.
That was fun.
That was really fun.
I enjoy driving, number one, but driving this 2024 new Land Cruiser has been such a pleasure. Really has.
It's comfortable. It's cool. It's got the cool factor.
Oh yeah.
I was telling Jimmy that your mom, you're rolling up to soccer practice in your minivan. Cool, nothing wrong with minivans. They're roomy. We've rented them before on trips.
Love minivans.
You roll up in a Land Cruiser. That is just a different kind of mom.
Yeah.
That is a cool mom.
This vehicle is one of those vehicles, I feel like when you are driving this thing down the road, people take a double take.
Yeah.
And I've seen that happen. So it's definitely unique looking.
I just think it's like, it's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too big. It's not too small. I drive 2 Suburbans, and I mean, that is a challenge if you are in small parking lots.
It is.
Trying to park in a big city.
Mm-hmm.
This is just big enough to feel spacious inside.
Yep.
Got the big windshield.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like, okay, I got some room.
Great visibility.
Lots of room in the trunk for...
Not the trunk.
The trunk? Is that not what you call it anymore?
The cargo area.
The cargo area. One thing that I really like is thinking if I were to go on a road trip with some of my girlfriends, that the back seat is actually comfortable.
Yeah.
And it reclines.
Yeah, the reclining, not only does it recline, it reclines really far.
Yeah.
Like where you feel like you're laying down.
Yeah, for sure.
I wish airplanes were like that.
Yeah, me too.
You recline in an airplane and you're like, this is what it should be to start.
Cool, this is great. Thanks, guys. There's also a lot of leg room in the back seat as well. So I feel like adults could fit comfortably in the back seat. And kids, no problem.
Yeah, you know, I first got in this thing and was adjusting this front seat to my comfortable position, and leaving it there, I got in the back, and yeah, my knees grazed the back of the seat, but there was plenty of room. I mean, especially when you recline that, I didn't feel claustrophobic or cramped or anything.
And if someone is 6'3" driving and someone is 6'3" in the back seat, then just, move over to the other side. Like, what's the chances like 4 basketball players are all going to be driving together in this?
And also, if you say you were driving.
Yeah.
So your seat's going to be a lot more forward, and if I was sitting in the back, I could be behind you and have plenty of
problem.
room.
Yeah.
So really surprised with the spaciousness in here.
I agree.
That word perfect is easy to use, but honestly, it feels perfect in here.
It does.
It does not feel small by any means, but it doesn't feel abnormally large either. It just feels
perfect.
Good. And keeping with the theme of the interior, what do you think about the seats and like the leather and even the color?
I love the brown.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it's a cool, it's like a vibe,
Yeah, definitely.
It's different. I think it looks luxurious in here. Like even simple things like the air conditioning vent is like a little extra fancy than just like a regular vent. It's this cool like round thing. They did a really good job with the design as far as what's easy to what buttons are easy to hit that you're gonna need most often.
I love the buttons. I love the physical buttons, and they're all right here. Easy to see, easy to adjust. There's the little screen that tells you the temperatures that everything is set for the climate control. Yeah, I really like it.
Now let's talk about this, okay? The elephant in the room, if you will. Some people are miffed about this being a hybrid. Okay?
Rightly curious, I would say.
Yes, curious. Let's call it curious.
And I was curious too. I heard
Me
that it
too.
was a turbo 4. I like the word turbo, but the 4, you start to wonder, how much
Yeah.
power is that thing going to have?
It has power.
It's got power. I am thoroughly impressed by this thing.
I am too.
I've been doing a lot of research and trying to soak up as much information as possible about this thing because it's intriguing. Something that I've kind of come up with is, the word efficiency. Toyota with the TNGAF platform is going for efficiency. With this very engine and transmission, the 8-speed transmission and hybrid setup, they're going for efficiency. One thing they haven't skimped on is power. So this thing has 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. That's pretty insane. And not only that, in our mile per gallon loop,
Oh yeah.
we got 21.5 miles per gallon with combined driving, and that was after
Traffic.
over 100 miles.
Yeah. In traffic, spring break.
So
Nashville.
when you can get 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque, and still get 21.5 miles per gallon, yes, please.
Something that I thought was a comfort if I were to buy this car is the battery has a 10-year, 150,000 mile warranty on it.
Yeah.
So if anything goes wrong with the battery, which is a concern for people, definitely that's something that you think about, whoa, that would be expensive.
Yeah,
you know?
I was surprised to read that. Don't quote us on those numbers. Definitely do your research yourself, but I'm pretty sure those are the numbers. Speaking of longevity, though, back to the engine real quick. I saw a video where one of the Toyota engineers was talking about how they developed this engine. And what was so intriguing to me is the fact that, for example, the turbo isn't just a typical passenger car turbo. This is a turbo that's more like a commercial spec turbo. So it's a turbo that's built for like a truck because they know that people are going to be towing with this thing. So I was surprised
So
with
they
that.
overbuilt it in a sense, but in a good way.
I love that.
In 2021, that was the last time they made a Land Cruiser, and that was not a hybrid at all.
So 2021 was the last model year for the Land Cruiser 200 series, and that had a big V8 in it, and a lot of people loved it, but it was a bit expensive, and so the sales were taking a hit, except for I was reading the last year when they announced that was going away, and
People
apparently
had FOMO about it.
apparently sales shot through the roof.
And the new 4Runner that's coming out, in comparison, that comes in hybrid and non-hybrid, right?
Correct, yeah. You can get the new 4Runner, the 6th gen, in a non-hybrid, just iForce.
I'm curious, like, which one's gonna do better?
I would love to drive that. Because
I'd like to drive both.
I feel like this little Force, I'm going to call it a little, but it's a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder turbo engine. Like I said, I think it's been overbuilt and it feels peppy.
It's peppy, all right. I'm really blown away by all the weird little, what's it called? Like it assists, a lane assist?
Yeah, the Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 is pretty fantastic. I didn't think I would really notice it too much, but being able to have dynamic cruise control, lane assist, and other features like that is pretty awesome.
And it beeps when oncoming traffic, like when you're about to turn into oncoming traffic.
Right, exactly. I was pulling out of a parking lot and the traffic was going by and the vehicle was telling me, be careful, there's cross traffic ahead. And I really think that things like that, little things like that, could really save someone from getting into an accident.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just little reminders here and there.
Well, we were saying when we were 16 and taking our DMV driving test and had to parallel park like our parents, 1975
Station
Suburban,
wagon, yeah.
or station wagon. And these kids nowadays have all these cameras and lane assist, and I mean, the car practically drives itself.
You know what, Ferris? We need to put you in the driver's seat.
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay, how does it feel being on the passenger side?
It's nice over here. It really is. This is a great sized vehicle.
Do you feel like we're up high?
I do. This does give you the sense of height for sure. One thing that I do like a lot, especially when you're driving, is the hood. You see how the hood has kind of got that cutout in the middle there? Mm-hmm. I feel like that helps you just kind of see the road.
Yeah, you're right.
It does.
I can see. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like such the perfect road trip car. Like,
absolutely.
Whether you're doing something outdoors or not.
Yeah, and especially with the JBL sound system.
The sound system slaps.
So good. You can really hear the tweeters up here on the A-pillars. I mean, it just sounds crystal clear. You know, my 2005 4Runner also has a JBL sound system.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't sound like this one.
Do you think it's a fair assessment, being that your girl here only drives cars from 2005 and earlier? What do we have? Two 2005s, a 2003, and a 95.
I feel like we have a really good perspective on this because the newest vehicle we have is 20 years old. Mm-hmm. So this not only is a good perspective on the Land Cruiser, but just how far technology has come in these vehicles. It's insane to me.
Yeah, like I said, I think in our first initial video, I feel like I'm living in the future right now.
It really feels like that, especially when you could have the steering wheel assisting you to keep centered in the lane.
Yeah, that's just mind-blowing.
Okay, so now that you're in the driver's seat, what do you think about the power?
It's super powerful. Mm-hmm. And coming from driving a 2003 Suburban and the 95, this has so much get up and go. I don't even have to barely press on the gas.
Yeah, what I think is incredible about this 4-cylinder turbo hybrid is that you're barely pressing the gas pedal and the thing just rips.
It just goes.
I mean, it really does.
It doesn't have to think about it. Like my Envoy has to think about it for a minute before, like if I'm merging onto a freeway, it's thinking.
Yeah, and that also, speaks to the transmission. It's an 8-speed transmission that does really well. I mean, you don't really get a sense that the transmission is there, and I feel like that's a really good thing.
And it's quiet.
Mm-hmm. I have heard some talk on the internet about how this engine is a little bit noisy, but I don't hear that at all.
I don't think it's noisy at all.
It feels nice and smooth. It feels like it's just really good.
What is that, Jimmy?
This is my old school Radio Shack sound meter. I don't know where I got this. I think it was at a garage sale.
Radio Shack. You're testing the sound in here.
Yes. So we're just gonna be quiet. We're gonna not talk.
Okay.
We're gonna drive at a normal, consistent pace, and we're gonna try to hear what the overall sound level is in here. All right, you ready for the test?
Yeah.
You can't talk.
Starting when?
Now.
Now?
Looks like about 65 decibels. Well, honey, I feel like we've kind of touched on everything that we really care about anyway.
Yeah, all the
and hopefully
important things.
Our viewers care about those things as well. I know we're a little late to the game here. This is a 24 model, and this thing's been out for, I think the 25 models are coming out very soon. This thing has been reviewed, every which way, but we needed to get it. We needed to put a review on it, test it out. And so that being said, for you, standout feature, the number one thing, what do you think?
You know my answer to this.
The looks.
The cool factor.
The cool factor.
Yeah, it's just cool.
It is just cool.
Any car gets you from point A to point B, right?
Yeah.
So what makes that different is the personality of the car and of the person driving it. Mm-hmm. This is a whole vibe. This is a thing, and I like it.
I will say, and maybe you think the same thing, but seeing this in pictures and in videos online, and then seeing it in person in your driveway, it's two different experiences.
It is.
It really is.
I'll never forget it rolling up our driveway. I won't.
The other thing I'll say about the cool factor and the looks is this blue has really grown on me. I think I love it. I really do.
Well, what about you? What's the standout feature for you?
I would have to say, aside from what you said, the cool factor, absolutely, the standout feature for me is the powertrain. I know there's been a lot of people talking about the powertrain, and some love it, some have questions. This is exactly what I've always, since I started driving and started realizing that, hey, when you have a big, powerful engine, you gotta pay for more gas. And I always wondered, well, why don't we get smaller engines with turbos and superchargers on them?
Why can't we have our cake and eat it too?
Exactly. And in this case, Toyota's not only given us a smaller engine that's overbuilt, that's more commercially built, that also is turbocharged, but also is hybrid. And Toyota's been at this hybrid game forever. So I feel like it's just the perfect package here. When you drive this thing, it feels so good. So good. So the standout feature for me is the powertrain. I love it. And with all that being said, I think we do have to give a big thanks to Toyota for providing this vehicle for review. This is a Toyota fleet loan. Thank you, Toyota.
Thank you.
This has been a blast.
It's been so much fun. I cannot wait to do the next one.
Yeah.
And my eyes are on that new 4Runner.
The 6th gen, can't wait to get that. That's gonna be really cool. Well guys, if you enjoyed this review of this new 250 series Land Cruiser by Ferris and Jimmy here on One Road, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It really helps the video and the whole channel. If you wanna see more, you can follow Ferris on Instagram at Ferris Patton. And if you wanna follow One Road, the Instagram account there is at One Road Garage. So for One Road, I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Ferris.
And we will see you
In the next one.